Hey everyone, Jen here today, and I'm going to be showing you how to make the new quilted applique bag tags. These are a new design to the Pop website, and while all of our bag tags are essentially made the same, this one has the quilting, so it has the addition of some batting. So I figured I'd get on and show you a quick video on how these are constructed. So go ahead and get your design loaded up, your color layer chart printed if it is necessary, and gather your supplies. You're going to need cutaway stabilizer, your vinyl of choice. I'm using promo vinyl by My Punk Embroidery, and then any eyelets or doodads that you want to add after. So let's go. All right, first you're going to start with hooping cutaway. I use cutaway on all bag tags, charms, snap tabs, etc. that have heavy stitching. So the new quilted applique bag tags have a satin stitch around the edge with the decorative bean overlay and the quilting. So it's a good idea to use cutaway for these, especially if you're going to add anything to the center of your design. Otherwise, this could be pulled out of place on your stabilizer. So this is medium weight cutaway from All Stitch. It's linked in our Amazon shop, or not Amazon shop, the YouTube description below. This is the regular cutaway I use for everything that I don't use polymesh for. So you're going to go ahead and load up your design. The first step on all bag tags is the placement for your bag tag, and this gives you the size of vinyl that you need. So go ahead and load your stabilizer, like I said, and run step one. Okay, so I went ahead and ran the placement stitch. We're doing the oval quilted bag tag, and I am using a 5x7 hoop, and that's just because that's what was on my desk. And these all fit in a 4x4 hoop. Some might be rotated at some point. Other bag tags are rotated to fit the 4x4 hoop. So these all fit a 4x4 machine. So you're going to take your vinyl, and because my vinyl is kind of curled, I'm going to go ahead and tape it down. Typically, you can just lay vinyl down and it will stay in place. Some people will use like a spray adhesive, and that's really not necessary, and it just causes issues. So you're going to take your vinyl. I use scraps a lot for these projects, and you just want to make sure your vinyl covers all of the placement stitching of your design. We don't give cut charts for in the hoop projects like this. Really, that's just not industry standard. And if you've done this, for a while, then you know that. But this is basically giving you your pattern piece. So you're cutting your vinyl bigger than necessary, and all of your placement stitching is covered. So the next step two, serves as two purposes. It's going to tack your vinyl down to keep it in place, but it's also going to give you the placement line for the batting step. So I'm going to go ahead and run that, and I'll be right back. Okay, so our placement line is stitched. I am using a darker thread so you can see it. I will switch to a lighter thread once the visible stitching is there. So you're going to take your batting. So I am using a little bit heavier weight batting, and that's just because that's what I have out. So, the weight you use is really up to you. If you have scraps of Quilter's Dream Select Request, that's totally fine. You probably could use some lighter weight sew-in foam. This is kind of what your machine will handle for the satin stitching. So just keep that in mind. So I prefer just using my batting scraps. Again, this is like the mid-weight batting. This is from Batting Super Sale. So, and I think it's all cotton. So you're going to take your batting and place it over your placement stitches. You want to make sure, again, it covers all of the placement stitching. And then you're going to go ahead and run step three, which will tack your batting into place. All right, our batting's in place. So next we're going to go ahead and trim the batting. I'm using my Kai 4-inch curved scissors. These are what I call my sharp scissors. I have some other small scissors that are just not nearly as sharp. But for this, you're going to want to get as close as you possibly can without cutting the tack down stitch. The tack down stitch does jump in slightly from the fabric, which is on purpose to try to make sure that you don't have any batting coming up through your fabric edge or satin stitching. So you can see there's like this is towards the center and here's our outline. Okay, so once you have your batting tacked down, you're going to go ahead and place your fabric. And I'm going to use, I think, let's see, I really like the strawberry print. So this is a great, actually, shit. Okay, you can see my batting is trimmed. And so next step is going to be to place your fabric. So I went ahead and fussy cut some of the Happy Homestead fabric. I love this goose and the bow. That's what made me buy this whole fabric line. So I'm going to center the goose as best I can here. I'm feeling the edges and I will get a little bit of the bow here. You can kind of push around and feel the outside of your design. So I'm going to go ahead and tape this down, just a little tape, just so it doesn't shift. And the next step is going to tack your fabric down. So I'll run that and be right back. Okay, so my video clip that showed just talking about the fabric tack down got cut off. So I'm going to talk about it again here. You can see I ran the quilting. So we ran the fabric tack down around, and then we ran the quilting, which was the next step. The thing I want to note is that I don't want you to trim your fabric until you have done your quilting or until you have done a design on your bag tag. So if you're adding a monogram or words or any kind of design to the center, I want you to leave the fabric intact. And that's because the quilting won't so much pull your fabric. It's the design you're going to put in it will pull on your fabric because there's no interfacing or heat and bond light on that fabric. So if you trim your fabric after you do that, you won't have that issue. So I'm using those same scissors, and these are so sharp, it just makes it really easy to trim. And especially if you use heat and bond light, this really will go right through like butter, like wrapping paper. So again, these are Kai, like 4-inch curved. I'll see if they're on Amazon and I will link them there, but you can find them pretty much at most quilt shops that have Kai scissors. Okay, so that's done. So the next step is I am going to go ahead and cover my design with water soluble stabilizer. And the reason being is because we did use batting, and this fabric is very I don't know what you call it. It's very sheddy to me. That's probably not a word, but I don't want any of that caught up in my satin stitching, and the water soluble stabilizer will keep that from happening. So I'm going to cover this with water soluble, and then the next step is the satin around, and then on the next step after that is the bean stitch on top, which I'm going to go ahead and run both of those, and then I'll be back. Okay, so here is the satin with the bean overlay. And again, this is the water soluble that I use. It's Solvi by Sulky. Just the regular weight is totally fine for this project. So you're going to go ahead and remove your stabilizer. Comes off really easy. So we are now to the last step. So you're going to go to the back side of your hoop, and you're going to go ahead and take your vinyl and the same vinyl used on the front, and you're going to place it right side up and make sure it is covering all of your stitches. You're going to go ahead and tape this into place. If you have dragging issues on your machine, you may want to put a piece of water soluble under your hoop or on the bed of your machine. I find sometimes if I forget to adjust my foot height back up from a project, that can cause vinyl drag. Or in the summertime, when it's more humid, the vinyl can get kind of just tacky like our skin, and sometimes it can drag on the bed of your machine. So just pro tip there. So I'm going to go ahead and run the last step, which is going to create the finish of our bag tag. Okay, so here is our finished bag tag. That's what the back looks like. So we're going to go ahead and remove it from the hoop. And I do have a video that goes over lots of tips and tricks on cutting vinyl projects. I'll go ahead and link that up in the corner. you can go ahead and view that. And I talk about scissors. So you're going to go ahead and trim around your bag tag. And this does take practice. Again, I highly recommend watching the other video. I trim up a snap tab, a bag tag, and a charm. I believe I do all three, go over my process and tools and what scissors I prefer, etc. Okay, so here is your finished bag tag. I use a crocodile to go ahead and hole punch the eyelet hole. And you can use any hardware you want. I do use just trimming off some of these extra threads. I do prefer to use eyelets on my bag tags, and those are linked below. There's a charm supply list, and it kind of has all of the hardware and the beads and the eyelets. You need to make sure you have the right size eyelet, and that size is linked below. I don't know what it is. I always buy the same brand, and they're scrapbooking eyelets, which I do probably pay more money for, but they're colored and I know they fit, so they go with my crocodile. So anyway, that is the new bag tag. It's in 4, whoops. I don't know. I lost one of them already in my pile of stuff. They come in 4 different shapes. There's a octagon. There it is. I have a pile of stuff over here. So octagon, circle, oval, rectangle for now. And I hope that you love them. And if you make them, please be sure to share them in our Facebook group or tag us on social media so we can share them with others. See you later.